This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, and welcome back to another edition of the Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel. And you know what? It's another weekend, it's another Sunday, and that means there's been another week gone by where our prospects have been in action overseas doing the things they've been doing. And you know, we talked about the three guys on the defensive side of the puck in Sweden just a little while ago, and now today I want to take a look at one guy in particular. Obviously, we have a couple of forward draft picks up in Sweden, but one guy in particular who's doing some pretty fantastic things over there with Vasby of the Allsvenskan, and that would be Mr. Raphael Lavoie. And Lavoie, well, he's gone over there. Remember, he tried out for Rogel BK. Nothing was suited there. He was then loaned to Vasby IK. I want to say IAK, but that's because AIK is Skellefteå and Philip Broberg, and I'm going to get this confused all the way around every time. But in the Allsvenskan, he's got 10 games played, 9 points, 6 goals, 3 assists. On the year of -4, though, keep of that note because we'll go over to the Vasby page and just kind of get an idea of who's leading the way for the team. And, well, straight up, it is Raphael Lavoie, the clear and above goal scoring leader and points leader for the team. They are not looking so solid so far in the season based on who's scoring goals and based on goaltending. They've had a 363 goals against average out of 8 games out of Henrik Lundberg and a 902 save percentage, and then Linus Rettar 408 goals against average and 892 save percentage, the next leading scorer on the team. So keep in mind, Raphael Lavoie is a legitimate pro rookie. This guy is not a guy who's been out there playing hockey in a pro league, right? He's played major junior up to this point. Now his first time pro overseas playing in the Allsvenskan, and he's got the team lead with 9 points and 6 goals, and the next closest has 3 goals and 3 assists for 6 points, and that being Johannes Nielsen. So let me see if I can get a roster for you, kind of get an idea of how old these guys are. The goaltender, Henrik Lundberg's 29, so you kind of range anywhere from about 22 all the way up to about, where did I see? About 22 through 29 is about your average range for this team, Vasby, that Raphael Lavoie is playing for. There is a younger kid on the team, a 99 as well, Gabriel Osterberg, who's number 47 for them, but that's really it. This team is a much older team. I mean, Linus Goodbark is there in net as well, but he hasn't seen any action either. So keep that in mind when it comes to Raphael Lavoie. He is the most junior player on this team, pretty much tied actually with a couple other guys who are 20 right now, but he is the youngest, being the only 2000 birth date on the Vasby IK team. So that's what you need to know there with Raphael Lavoie. And the best part about this is exactly what we want to see when it comes to one of our prospects in the Allsvenskan, right? Bouchard's been lighting it up. William Lagesson noted to be lighting it up. And now you've got Raphael Lavoie, who all along has been lighting it up. But for Lavoie, the big key here is no longer is he lighting it up. He is leading the way for his team. So let me see if I can get SHL standings here, because I'd like to give you that for reference. The SHL, where is the SHL website? Maybe I can find it. I always struggle to find the SHL website for whatever reason, but you've got Vasby, who's in there all the way down. Where are they? That is the SHL. That's why I can't find anything. I need the Allsvenskan. Sorry, guys. Give me a second here. Standings. There we go. That makes more sense. And right now, as you've got it in the Allsvenskan, you've got, that is last year's standings. That's not going to do us any solid favors. That is not good. So let me see if I can get down and find the Allsvenskan website. Anyway, you know what? We just won't worry about it too much. It's tough enough to find, so we'll leave that there. But what you do need to know is that in the league, Raphael Lavoie doing his thing, leading the way so far, And right there, right off the top, Vasby is actually, sorry, I just found it on Elite Prospects. 2 wins, 7 losses, and 1 OT loss. A total of 18 goals for, 6 of which Raphael Lavoie has, and 39 goals against. So when you see that -4 for Raphael Lavoie, it does make sense, right? This is a team that's mightily struggling to do anything this year, and Raphael Lavoie is a key member of succeeding. So some might say he's just priming up to be an Oiler, and I mean, Flames fans taking that shot might be okay with taking that shot right now, and us Oilers fans, we don't have much to argue with. But when it comes down to it, I don't think we're going to see Raphael Lavoie take the jump up to the NHL this year, simply because the center depth is there, and for Raphael Lavoie, he is a guy known to be able to play center, so we want to make sure we don't try to force somebody out of the middle of the ice when it comes to getting him in. He's a center right winger, so I don't know what they've been using him over there in Sweden as, but he has the capability to play either or, and even still, right, center right winger, how does that either or solve the issue, as we've got too much on the right side? You've got Puljujarvi, Chiasson, you've got Yamamoto, you've got Kassian, you've got, right, bang, bang, bang on the right side, and all those guys trying to compete in there. Patrick Russell probably somehow still ahead of Raphael Lavoie at this point in the depth charts. So you've got guys ahead of Lavoie, and you don't want to be using Lavoie on the fourth line. This is a guy that's going to be a bread and butter top 6 winger. In fact, if you're going to use him as a winger, he is going to be Connor McDavid's better, much improved Zach Kassian a year or 2 down the road. 100%. We stole this guy in the 2019 draft. This is probably the best move outside of the first round after the gamble on Broberg that seems to be paying off, and the move to get Dylan Holloway, which I think everyone's going to grow to love, similar to the Broberg move. But this is, of course, the biggest steal Ken Holland's got, simply based on a guy falling down the draft a little bit, but at the same time, not being scared of that, because Raphael Lavoie, right? I know there was some concerns about him at first, but this is the guy who is on a losing team in the Allsvenskan over in Sweden, just trying to play some hockey to get ready for camp, whenever that is, in a global pandemic. And he's leading his team as they struggle in the absolute basement of a Swedish hockey league that Raphael Lavoie probably never even thought for 2 seconds prior to, let's say, August 10th about playing in, right? That's the reality right there. That's what it comes down to, is this is a pretty crazy situation for Raphael Lavoie, and he is doing nothing but succeeding throughout it. So that's solid to see right there. And this really allows him to kind of push himself up the depth chart in the AHL when the season resumes or gets underway, or whatever terms you want to use. Probably up here in Canada, out of Rogers Place, out of the community rink, or out of Rogers Place, just on the ice surface to get those guys acquainted. I don't know what they're going to do, guys. So much to be determined. But for Raphael Lavoie at this point, this is just nothing is better than seeing what is going on for him in Sweden, because this is a big win for the Oilers. It's a big win for him. This is a big win for the entire development core of the Edmonton Oilers, because this guy that's going to do the exact same curve as Evan Bouchard from last year, come into the AHL full-time, make a difference, and then have us, as we are right now with Evan Bouchard, all scratching our head. How do we fit this guy on the team and make sure he keeps developing without over-forcing him into the lineup? And that's the beautiful thing. Right now, we're already starting to talk about Raphael Lavoie and his game maybe being NHL ready at this point. But you know what? This is the nice, beautiful part, is slow down a minute. Is it's a good problem to have too many NHL caliber players. Get that? Yeah, that is something we haven't been able to talk about too often as Oilers fans, is the fact that we have too many NHL caliber players in the prospect pool and in the NHL roster. We've had a lot of guys come and go, right? You think of Pontus Aberg's a good example, of Valentin Zykov. Ooh, those are some names, right? Those are some names, my friends, to keep in mind from a few years ago, that we're just filling a hole in the roster because we didn't have anything in the prospect pool worth bringing up to try and force into the NHL lineup, and we didn't have anything at the NHL level worth rolling out there in big situations. So we found these guys just floating around the organization, and then here they are in the door, out the door, and gone, and away we go. But now over the past couple of years here, the last year with Peter Chiarelli, and now you've got this year's draft with Ken Holland and the last year's draft with Ken Holland. So the past 3 drafts have really beautifully set up the Edmonton Oilers with prospects that are going to be able to do stuff in the next 2 to 3 years, right? You think Bouchard, Broberg, and of course Holloway. You kind of have a slide into the next few years. You have Bouchard probably coming this year as soon as someone goes down. You have Broberg coming the year after. You have then Holloway the year after. Bang, 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 right? You get how it goes. And that is looking really solid because you already have Kyler Yamamoto up here. So now, right, Kyler Yamamoto, full-time this year. Bouchard, probably full-time this past year for Yamamoto. Full-time this year for Bouchard as soon as someone goes down or if somehow some trade happens or something. Bang, right there, Bouchard. Next year, Broberg. And we're talking Yamamoto came full-time at the halfway mark of the season. That's fine. That's fine. I will take 27 games out of Kyler Yamamoto to consider him full-time when he puts up 27 points, right? The curve is complete, and now he starts curving at the NHL level. And for Raphael Lavoie, this is where he finds himself in. All the first-rounders are getting the attention, but let me tell you, Raphael Lavoie is going to be garnering more and more eyes if he keeps doing what he's doing in the Allsvenskan for Vasby IK, because they're a struggling team. And there you have Raphael Lavoie trying to drag them single-handedly out of the basement. And because of goaltending, it appears, or defense, I don't know, one of the two. We're Oilers fans, probably blame both. Who knows what's happening, but Raphael Lavoie can't drag them out because they can't stop the puck from going in the back of the net. Guys, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. That's your weekend update on Raphael Lavoie. We'll have to maybe talk about him and his games a little bit later on next week because you just don't know what this kid's going to do. Another 2 points tonight, 10 games played, 6 goals, 3 assists, 9 points, and a -4 for Raphael Lavoie in the Allsvenskan so far. I promised we'd talk about him. We have. I'm Tyson, Dolynny TV, up on out of here.